All right, I just turned the video on. Here's the question about that. And that is that why would you ever make a choice to sit in pain or to lay in pain when you had the possibility of adjusting your posture so you don't? Here's an example of that. The kid broke his arm, his right arm. He's right-handed. The doctor put his arm in a cast, then he put it into a sling. And now the kid with that sling is playing with coffee, he's writing stuff down, and he's doing all kinds of things, and his arm hurts. The whole point about putting it in a sling, if the doctor would explain it to him, is to keep the arm still, which means keep his hand still. If you keep your hand moving, all of the tendons way up into the arm. Look at, if you can see, when I'm moving my hand, look at all of the muscles that are moving in the arm. Okay, so the thing to do is to rest the hand so that you can rest the arm so that it can heal. You understand that much? Okay, so you can adjust your posture, and sometimes you can stop doing what makes the back hurt. One example is that I saw myself and a lot of other students would try to get against the wall when we were doing the Goenka Vipassana retreats, and the staff would come and say, "Don't sit against the wall. Don't be comfortable. Sit out there and be in pain." Okay, one of the things that happens when you're sitting against the wall is by sitting against the wall and pressing against the wall, guess what? It straightens the spine so that you're not slumped over. And that when people are in pain, they slump over. So get into a chair that's got a back to it and sit up straight and use that backrest to hold your back straight. You can also practice while laying down in bed, laying on your side. Find a posture where your back is not hurting. And then congratulate yourself for finding a posture where your back doesn't hurt.
So it's a like I have to do a lot of introspection to know which things I can change in order to make me feel better, like my body, and which stuff I cannot change, kind of.
All right. Yes. So now let's say that you've done everything that I advise and also done other things. Like in Thailand, they have a thing called massage. And at one time, my neck hurt. And the worst thing that I could possibly do was to go to a Thai masseur and have them moving everything around. It's like a chiropractor or a Ricky. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. So be mindful if you're having an adjustment by either a chiropractor or a masseuse or someone like that to try to alleviate the back pain, because sometimes they can't alleviate the back pain, and sometimes they make it even worse. So now, with all of that, with doing body postures, changing your posture, also going and getting your back worked on, you still have chronic back pain. That's possible.
Yeah.
That in fact, there's a thing that's called osteoporosis. Have you ever heard of that?
It's like chronic inflammation, right?
Well, actually, the symptoms that can be seen from the outside is the old woman is stooped over and she's got a
Okay.
cane. Okay. But you can tell that she's in pain when she walks because the cartilage and the calcium in her spine are no longer working correctly, and so she's bent over. Sometimes people get bent over double. All right, and they have chronic pain. The question is, are you going to be in chronic back pain and chronic mental pain together? Are you going to just merely manage chronic back pain and be mentally happy? It is possible that you cannot do something about the back pain, but we want to exhaust all the possibilities that you can do something physically to eliminate the physical pain. But in the United States, what they do is if they can't, even if they can fix the actual physical back pain, they still want to take pills. And all the pills that they have for back pain are based on opium.
Yeah.
That in fact is kind of like using heroin as a cure for back pain. And more than likely, what's going to happen is people are going to be addicted to their back pain medicine, because the medicine itself makes the pain less, but it also ruins their life through addiction. So I would not recommend any medication in pill form, though I do know that some medications are valuable and wholesome. An example of that is aloe is a good aid for burns and open wounds. Also, if you've got an open wound, getting it stitched up in one of the new methods or one of the old methods. You can either use staples or some of the newer stuff. Is that if you've got an open cut on the arm here, that you put tape over here and tape over here that's got a way of stitching the tape so that you can draw that wound closed.
Yeah. You kind
without
of together.
stitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you stitch the tape that you've got rather than stitching the wound itself. So there's a lot of stuff that the doctors would recommend that have
Yeah.
to do with physical. Another one is if you've got a broken arm, let's set it in the cast. Now they've got some new casts that are really interesting because they have new casts that are made out of plastic or so that allow it to breathe. And the old way, they would wrap it in gauze and then put it completely covered with plaster of Paris. But that's the old way to do it. Now they can put it into a cast. In fact, one of the ways of putting it into a cast is like a balloon around it. And when you blow up the balloon will hold the arm still. But it's got the balloon is built in such a way that it allows air to get in and moisture, whatever, like that. So you can take a bath and all kinds of things with the new cast. But the important thing is that you are doing something to hold that arm still so that it can heal.
Right.
All
So
right. So we do want to take care of the physical stuff first and do as much as we can with the technology that we have. And there's
yeah,
still going to be then the issue of, well, what's next? The answer is not pills, but the answer is let's have some medication to fix the mind.
like
Like when the pain comes, we can say, all right, let's do it two ways. One
yeah.
is that the pain comes because you're using that part of the body. And so the
Yeah.
thing to do is to stop using it and let it rest.
So the
That's back to
medication
the
for the mind,
physical.
the
But you have
medication
to
for the mind is the Dhamma.
Yes, but it takes the Dhamma to remember you've got to stop doing that. Just
Yeah.
like the kid has to remember that he's got to stop using that hand. He's got to stop holding coffee cups. He's got to stop writing with that hand. He's got to stop trying to catch baseballs. He's got to stop using that hand because the arm's not going to heal. So that
Mm.
takes Dhamma to remember to hold the hand still.
Mm. So if I understand correctly, you can have sometimes physical pain. Sometimes you can alleviate some physical pain. Sometimes you can.
Most of the time you can.
Most of the time you can, but it's about not getting also into mental pain due to
Right.
that physical pain, right?
And so now the next thing to remember is that the pain is going to be there, but you can be a champion of that pain. You do not have to be its victim. You can remember that, oh, I can hold that arm still is the first thing, but that may not do it. But now you can say, I can hold my mind still rather than having my mind become agitated because I'm in pain.
Mm. Yeah.
I can
All
hold
right.
my mind still. I do not have to have the mind running into hating the pain. I can deal with it. I can handle it. So now we've got a new word to use. I can handle that pain.
Mm. So, but it still needs like the wisdom to know when I cannot change it and I just
Well,
have to accept
yes,
it.
the wisdom would be how much work are you going
Yeah.
to put into the physical? Because in fact, the physical changes that need to be done to get rid of the pain may be a long, slow process. But
Yeah.
you can do something immediately about the mind. In other words, if you step on a nail and you've got a punctured foot, you do want to go to the doctor. He's going to give you a tetanus shot. He's going to, if the nail is still in the foot, he's going to pull it out. If it's not there, he's going to bind the wound and put some medicine on it. But on the way to the doctor, you don't have to be miserable with your foot. You can
Yeah.
say, I can handle this. The doctor's going to take care of it. Let him do the physical stuff, and I'm going to do the mental thing. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to stay off that foot. I'm not going to try to walk on it. I'm going to be comfortable and be gentle with it. Get myself into a wheelchair, roll myself into the doctor's office, and let him deal with the foot while I'm dealing with my mind happily.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of learning where the point is of stopping. Also, it kind of, you always say you take the like the fastest way to get rid of the suffering, like the
Yeah,
easiest.
right. So, in fact, air how sharp that sensation is in the broken arm, or air how that sharp the pain is in the back that's got osteoporosis, or air how much pain you're in because you've got a nail just driven into your foot. It doesn't matter those sensations. They're not the suffering. The
Right.
suffering is not liking that sensations, and part of it has to do with fear. Like you can break a leg, and the sports kid will say, "Oh, I'll never play football again." Well, he doesn't know that.
Mm.
All right. So I'll never be able to walk again is the fear part. And the better part of that would be the better mental states would be is I can handle this, whatever happens. Yeah, I may not walk again, but I bet I can. And if I can't, I can handle that too. So always the attitude is the attitude of a winner. I can handle this pain. I can handle it. In fact, it doesn't have to be called pain. It's just a sensation. Even
Yeah.
better, call it a bodily message. For instance, the kid whose arm hurts because it's broken in a cast, that's a message saying, hold your hand still.
Mm.
And so when the arm starts to hurt, the kid says, aha, let me hold my hand still because it makes my arm hurt when I'm playing with my hand.
All right. Thanks for that. I will. It's kind of something that has been coming up lately,
All
and
right. Here's one thing. I notice that your shoulders are higher than your neck. You're up like this right now.
yeah, I'm like leaning on the table.
Right. Okay. So that'll make some people have their back hurt. Relax. Bring your shoulders down. And in fact, that's a major cause of back pain for so many people. They don't even know it that they've got their arms propped up on a table, and that makes their back hurt.
Yeah. So another thing, because I've been like yesterday, I've been on a train for 5 hours.
That'll make your butt hurt.
Well, it's not at all about physical pain, but more like boredom. That's been really interesting.
Well, the
So
boredom is that you just simply don't like the situation, and maybe there
yeah,
is some butt pain, and you're not even looking at it. So perhaps the thing to do is to unstrap that buckle, stand up, walk up and down the hall, maybe only 3 or 4 feet in one direction, turn around, walk down 3 or 4 feet twice, and then turn around and then walk 3 or 4 feet back to the chair.
Yeah, for sure. It's like one thing I've noticed a lot, like yesterday, was that I really could see how my mind was craving like mental like stimulation, like dopamine stimulation.
Everybody does that. That's why they
Yeah,
put a book magazine in the back pocket of every flight that
yeah,
sells something. And they put in really interesting, nifty stuff that you'll only see on your airplane. And so they wind up people spending a whole lot of money because they're bored.
yeah. And I was wondering like, what is the correct view when I notice it? Like,
Oh,
what is
they've
the
got pretty pictures. Wow, when I'm looking at the pretty pictures, I don't hurt so much. I'm not so bored, but I'm not going to buy anything.
Hmm. Yeah, because I was wondering at this 5 hour train ride, I was wondering like I could not like it was hard for me to, for example, just sit all the time. So at
Yeah, so
sometimes
stand up and then sit back down. People will, in fact, sit. They don't like sitting. They hate sitting, and they'll still stay seated. They don't actually do something. They don't stand up and let the butt rest and then sit back down.
yeah.
Walk around the
So
car, walk to the next car, then walk back and come back to your seat and sit down.
so it's kind of like doing some stuff to stimulate my brain a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and
And
then
one
coming
of the
back.
best things to stimulate your brain with is start thinking about the Dhamma. Get
Right.
your cell phone out and start looking for quotes from the Dhammapada.
I really love listening to Dhamma talks.
Yes, so get them out and start listening. And while you're listening to Dhamma talk, your butt doesn't hurt so much on the train.
Yeah, but it's funny that it's sometimes I listen to a talk for like an hour and then I notice, well, it's getting boring. And this is interesting feeling kind
So go
of.
listen to another one. Go
Yeah,
go to a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis movie. Go to Buster Keaton. And when their comedy gets boring, then go and watch what's his name? Clint Eastwood shoot somebody in a Western movie. And when you get tired of the violence, go back and start watching the Dhamma again. It's okay to move things around
yeah. All
so that you
right.
don't get bored.
Yeah, I think that's what I need to contemplate about because I noticed that I have this view of boredom being kind of or needing that stimulation being like demonizing it in a way.
Rather
Yeah.
than just merely recognizing that, hey, I'm bored, which means, hey, I need stimulation, or hey, I can change my mind. I can stimulate my own mind.
Yeah. Right.
And there's two ways to do it. Guess which one I recommend? One way to do it is to sit there and hate Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. And then the other way to do it is to love the Dhamma. Wow, the Dhamma is so great. If I think about the Dhamma, I don't hurt so much. If I'm listening to the Dhamma, or if I'm thinking about the Dhamma, then I'm not so bored.
Yeah, I really love listening to when there are like new talks coming up with people that like where you talk with for the first time. I really love listening to those because you kind of you explain the Dhamma from the beginning in
Mm-hmm.
simple and yeah, it reminds me a lot. So I really like these like simple talks where you talk to someone for the first time and just explain him what it's all about, him or her.
Yeah, it's actually quite simple. The big trick is, can you remember that it's simple and then do it? It's a simple thing to do. But people will often do their old habits in the sense that they'll get bored and they'll stay bored and they hate the boredom and they don't remember that, hey, I can come right out of boredom by giving myself something to do, like thinking about the Dhamma, thinking about how marvelous it is. thinking
Yeah,
about how absolutely spot on the Buddha was 2,500 years ago.
yeah,
Wow, that he's got a cure, and the psychiatrists don't even have a cure yet. All they've got is pills. They
right.
don't have a cure for the spiritual disease, but we do have a cure for it. What is that cure? Never mind, I can handle that. It's not a
Yeah,
big deal. Everything's going to be okay. Nothing to worry about. This train trip is going to be over. Hey,
yeah,
while the train trip's happening, why don't I do something valuable and wholesome, like look out the window and see all of the stuff passing by? Trains are really nice when you can see things going by. It's actually more boring at night because you can't see anything at night.
yeah. Also, like
You,
recently I've been getting a lot of confidence in the Dhamma because I feel like when I notice dukkha, I really have this deep knowledge that it's illusionary.
yes, it is. You made it up.
Yes,
All your boredom, you made that up.
right. So, and I know that the Dhamma, like no matter what I suffer from, the Dhamma can get me out of it, kind of.
Because you got yourself into it. You, using the Dhamma, can get yourself right back out of it.
Right. So it's this teaching of no matter what happens, I have the Dhamma or I can handle it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Think of it like this. Think of it like a hammer, a standard claw hammer. You use the hammerhead to drive in all of that dukkha,
Yeah.
but you could use the claw to pull it right back out.
Yeah. Right. So you mean like using the mind in creating dukkha, but also being able to use the mind in
To
releasing it?
pull that dukkha right back out.
Yeah. That's what it feels like learning more and more about the Dhamma and about myself, obviously.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when you use the claw on that hammer to pull those nails out, now those boards are not stuck together anymore. You've got freedom.
Yeah.
If you leave that nail stuck in place, you're stuck.
And how amazing that is to being able to do that.
So let's use the claw part of our mind and just pull that stuff right out.
Yeah, maybe that should be the title for the YouTube video. Use the claw to pull it right out. Yeah, nice. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Great.
Well, we've gotten a lot done today. Thank you for your help on Google, and I appreciate it. And
Yeah, I did not,
my payment
did,
to you is Dhamma.
I did not get very far already,
That's
like with
okay.
the
You
people.
take your time. I'm not in a hurry. They've been billing us for months and months, and I haven't done anything about it. So if you can do something about it, thank you.
Yeah, we'll see. I will look into it. Maybe it's quick and easy. We'll see.
Yeah, it should be quick and easy for you if you can read Google stuff. It's hard for me because I have to squint for every word.
All right.
All
Thanks, Dhamma.
right. We'll see you.
Wish you a great day. Thank you so much. Bye bye.